Welcome everyone to Jaden's Jam. I'm your host Jaden Goss, and today we're talking about Andor Episode 4, Aldhani. So, last review of you watched it. I completely raved over it. It was fantastic. This episode is no different. You know, this is the kind of Star Wars that I've been wanting forever. Like, this is a spy thriller. It's all about the politics of Star Wars. And, one of the things that I really love about this show is how dire the situation is if you're a part of the rebellion and you're going up against the Empire. Like, it has set up the Empire as the big foe that, Star Wars has always told you it was, but we had always seen it usually through the eyes of Jedi who have superpowers and lightsabers and shit. So this time we're actually dealing with, the ground floor of the rebellion. And it is simply just awe inspiring. The writing on this show is better than any other Disney Plus Star Wars show that we have seen. The writing is so good on this show. The dialogue is everything. I love all the characters that we're getting introduced to. There's not a lot to talk about plot wise. Really, all it was is just getting Andor set up to join this mission where they're going to have to attack an armory and steal a paywall or whatever. And so, that way, all we really did in this episode from Andor's perspective is meet the team that he's going to be working with. And there's not much to go on character wise yet, but I did love all of the interactions. Again, Luthen, Stellan Skarsgård, he's the best character on this show. He's fantastic. I mean, he is just elevating every scene he is in. And, he has a great moment at the beginning of the episode when he's talking to Val, I think is her name. Sorry, I'm still learning all the character names. And they throw so many new characters at you this episode, I'm going to not remember pretty much everybody's name. But when he's talking to Val and he's telling her about Andor or Klim or whatever, that, she's going to have a new team member. And when they're 3 days away from doing their mission or whatever, I love the moment where she's like kind of, arguing with him, and you can tell he's getting tired of arguing about it and he just wants to move on. And he just like basically tells her, you have to do it. Like, like be quiet, listen to me. And he just has that moment where he gets so angry and you get to see more of his emotion, more character to him. He is the most mysterious character on this show so far, but he is just, I can't look away when he's on screen. And the scene when he's on the ship after Andor's left, and you see him putting on some kind of disguise. He's changing his identity to a museum curator, which we don't know at the time, but and he just, it's a simple moment. All it is just a character flourish where he puts on this wig. He's putting on all the rings, and he looks in the mirror, and he just does a little thing with his hands, and he smiles, and that's all we needed to know. Just this show is just, it's so good. Like, I totally get that it's not going to be as popular as The Mandalorian. I know a lot of people don't like it already because it is, the definition of a slow burn. This is just we're at the tip of the iceberg still here. But I just cannot wait for every single episode. And this is the kind of stuff that I absolutely love. Like, one of my favorite shows of all time is The Americans. And anybody who's seen that show knows why I love this show, Andor. I am just a sucker for spies. Like, and this, I'm telling you, man. Like, and then seeing Mon Mothma, like, that's so cool because she's really never gotten to do much in the Star Wars universe. So seeing that she's gonna be a recurring character on this show, and just from her meeting with Luthen at the museum, he's trying to get her to buy, or they're trading information or whatever. I guess she's the person who's funding this mission, and it seems like Luthen needs some more money or whatever, from what I could gather. Again, it's all dialogue. This is one of those shows that you want to watch more than once, like each episode. And I've only watched this episode one time, so I'm still, just going off from memory. So I might forget some stuff. But and then I love that scene. Every scene with Stellan Skarsgård is just magical, and the whole museum scene. I can't even decide what my favorite scene from this episode was, because I just love so many of them. I mean, a lot of Andor's scenes are just getting to know Val and getting introduced to the team that they're the Suicide Squad or whatever, the suicide mission that they're going to be going on. You know, we don't get as much from the other characters yet, so you know, so really this episode was just everything with Luthen and Mon Mothma, and then getting to see Mon Mothma's home life was cool. I mean, that's something that you're not going to see in a epic Star Wars movie. You're not going to see a scene like you do on like you saw in this episode. And her husband's a dick, and they're gonna have a big dinner with a lot of legends character, a lot of big Star Wars villains who are more of the more of Palpatine's like crew, but we're not talking about like a Darth Vader or a Tarkin or some of the higher tier villains, but these are still like Sly Moore. Like we're gonna this. I can't wait, man. Like every episode of this show so far, I'm just enthralled, glued to the screen. I love the spy element. This show is so tense. The action that we have gotten has been amazing. Like last episode had some of the best action I've seen in a Star Wars since probably, especially Disney era. It's been a long time. So as you can tell, I'm absolutely loving this show, and I'm just going off on different tangents. I love it, man. It's so fantastic. The directing is great. I love that they're filming at actual places. It just looks 10 times better than seeing the volume over and over and over, like in Mandalorian, Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan. Kind of sick of the volume. So getting to see like the Scottish Highlands, that's where they filmed this, was just a change of pace. It was real locations, it was real places. And I just love it because it looks so much more beautiful than what a fake green screen can create in the background. Like I'm gonna. I know every week I'm gonna be raving about this show, especially if it continues at this rate. This might go down as in my top 10 shows of the year if it continues to be this good every episode. You know, from what I've heard from critics, the fifth episode I think has a lot of action. It might be the fifth or the sixth. One of the next episodes I think will satisfy a lot of people who want to see some action on the show again. So, from what I've heard, it's either the fifth or the sixth, but apparently it's some of the best action we've seen in Star Wars. So, I can't wait. Like, I'm glued to the screen. One thing I want to talk about real quick that I forgot to in the original review is how good the Empire scenes were in this episode. The costuming looks great. I love the white look, the white costumes that they're wearing. It's cool to see Qyburn come back, but this time as a Star Wars character. He just oozes Empire. it's all of these scenes were so good. And honestly, earlier I said I don't know what my favorite scene was. It was just the scene where they're all in the conference room. If you like this video, please like, please comment. Let me know what you're thinking about this show, because I'm absolutely loving it. And I can't even get any coherent thought out because I love it so much. But again, I'm not a professional critic. I'm not there yet. Maybe someday. Share this video and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're still growing. I'm sorry that I'm getting these reviews out late this week. It's just been a hectic week for me personally. So, I've been sick. So I'm trying to get over this sickness and, having kids and all that stuff. So I'll still have a House of the Dragon review, I promise. And yeah, that's about it. So come back next week for another Andor review. See you later, guys.